Now, the next thing after expression is postures. Postures, the entire body's movement. You will see the way I am placing all those points in front of you is coming in a different sequence. First, I talked about different kind of appearances, means your face, how it should be, what kind of reactions should be there. And then I came to expressions, the facial expressions, to a certain extent body expressions. The body expressions is more supported by postures. Okay? So, in the postures what happens is, how do you stand? How do you sit? How do you get up? How do you sit means how you are sitting, and how do you sit? That means you are in the standing position, then you sit, and you are now sitting for some time. How you are continuing with your sitting, or if you are standing, how do you continue with your standing? And every time the postures keep on playing certain roles. Okay, let me highlight. So, postures, what are the postures? One is a standing and there is a sitting. Okay. Then one thing that I brought here is very funny sounding, but it's very important. Postures related to standing I will talk about, postures related to sitting I will talk about, also I will talk about the postures related to tummy. You remember that I highlighted this point, at least mentioned this point when I was talking about our torso, because in the whole body, if you see, our central part of the body, abdominal part, covers a good quantum of volume, okay, and that plays a very important role. See, I did not opt for drawing any cartoon over here, because you know why I have avoided drawing cartoons during my discourse, because I am afraid that if it matches with somebody's profile, then there will be menace. That is why I am avoiding cartoons. Okay? Otherwise, I will advise you that when you talk about the tummy, look at the persons with a little bit of inflated paunch or tummy. How do they stand? How do they bend? What is the situation when they sit? You will find that you may also suffer from the same thing, because this is something which we either inherit or we grow. But when you are basically meeting people individually, it makes no difference. But when you are meeting people, your entire body, if it is going to be manifesting, then you cannot ignore your central part of the body or the torso. I will highlight this further. Okay? Then comes shoulder. So, standing posture, sitting posture, the posture is related to the central part of the torso and the shoulder. Let us go to standing. See, there are different kinds of standing. I will just highlight few. Either you are standing straight, absolutely straight, or you are stooping. Stooping means you are bending. Stooping or very much bent. Standing, stooping, very much bent. Have you noticed in some places where the reception desk is slightly at a higher level, somebody comes and tries to talk to the receptionist, immediately puts both the hands on the reception desks like this and keeps on talking, or puts the hand on the reception shoulder and bends the body closer to the receptionist and try to talk. Okay? I will tell you, it makes a lot of difference, isn't it? Have you noticed the difference of standing? We say attention and stand at ease. That's what is the kind of army level language. Attention and stand at ease. Stand at ease, the legs are placed apart. Attention, the legs are closer. Okay? Now you look at it. Legs are closer. You have one such kind of standing. That means you are standing with your feet touching each other, or your feet is slightly off. But if you watch people standing, henceforth I am sure that once I give you these points, I am sure you would be watching people. Watch people, how do they stand? You will find if they are standing with the legs apart, sometime you will find that somebody puts the entire load of the body on one part, one leg, and the other leg is bent. That means it is something like, I would definitely draw a single line diagram on my paper here. Okay? It is something like this. Look at this paper. See, somebody, I will just draw single line diagram so that it does not resemble anybody. Stand at ease. Attention. somebody will stand with one leg like this and another one bent. Somebody will stand as this and then the legs are straight. Somebody will stand as this and one leg bent, another leg straight. If you really watch, there are so many ways one can stand. Just few days back, I saw one person standing in a very funny manner. Look at this particular sketch. Here, there are two legs apart. That person had a slightly uncanny distances between two legs, uncanny, which is not very normal. It's too much spread apart. Okay, now what happens in this is, whenever such kind of standing is done, then people start analyzing. The analysis is something like this. If the legs are apart, then he is at a comfortable stage. If the legs are together, he is on an alert position. If somebody is stooping, that means he is slightly stressed physiologically. If somebody is bending and trying to take rest, that means he is further stressed physiologically. Okay? So everything has some reaction on the other side of the person. Every such standing posture. Some people, you would see that they may be bending their legs, but the feet is touching, both touching the floor. And somewhere you'll find that one person has raised the feet and the heel is up. Many such things will happen. People stand in different kind of postures. Each one has, if you really analyze, then each might indicate something. If somebody has spreaded the legs so much, and then very funny thing was, the person was talking to his client, but with the legs very much apart. It's absolutely incourteous. Why it is incourteous? He put the legs in such an ease position that he is not paying attention or focusing on to the respect of the client. And that's what I saw 2 days back. And immediately it struck me, this is a very funny way of standing, and he shouldn't have done that. He should have been alert. He might have been doing this before the client came in front of him. But the moment client has come, he should have changed his standing positions or postures, and the legs should have been as closer as possible, because alertness or attention, paying attention, reflected through body postures are these. And bending legs is one leg is support, is entire load is one, and another one is bent. It's a very casual way of standing. You may be standing on the reception desks. You may also put your shoulder if necessary, but usually don't, because putting your shoulder means you are encroaching into the reception desks. That you don't do. And if you really want to take hold on something to rest, put your hands like this on the reception desk if necessary. If not, don't even do that. Stand straight in front of the reception desk, and then you ask your points or give your identity. That's all. Don't encroach onto others' domain when you are standing. So it is something like whatever I tried to give an idea, that stretching your legs too much apart or maybe slightly apart of the standard ease position, or becoming together, or folding one, these are all different kind of standing postures which happens. And each posture is going to give some kind of reactions in the mind of the viewer. And the reactions is, some people may not be very conscious about it, not concerned about it. Okay, doesn't matter, he is standing like that, so what? But the thing is, if somebody who is supposed to take your order, or who is supposed to give you a delivery, that means he is giving service to you. If that person expresses disrespect or to certain extent casualness or such things through the legs movement, it is counterproductive. It does not give good impression. So naturally what happens is, counterproductive means what? Even if there was an iota of positive things to happen in favor of you, that also gets nullified. So please be very, very cautious. At the same time, I'll put one more point. This will come a little later again. See, if you are a speaker speaking, I've seen that. What happens when you are busy in public speaking, you are having a microphone in front and you are standing, two things happen. How to handle my hands, what to do with the hands. So people who are very animated in their speaking, they keep on raising their fingers and throwing the hands like this, and spreading like this, or putting on the table. That means basically they don't know what to do with the hands, and they do some kind of gestures. But what about the legs? Somebody standing in front of a rostrum, or maybe just in front of a standing microphone, if you watch, the person sometime doesn't know what to do with the legs. Should he change his posture? Somehow I found amongst some who may be trained in this and they have done this, I have a little bit of reservation on that. What I've seen, some people I've watched, when they speak in front of a standing microphone, and then they keep on, say, first is one foot here and another foot is like this. See, it is something like, okay, again I'm drawing on this. So when he is speaking, one foot is here, another foot is a little away. That means he is spreading, okay? And then within some time, this one. So one foot straight, and one leg straight, another leg is slightly split. Within few seconds, he changes his stance. This becomes vertical and this becomes slightly off. Again, after a few seconds, this one reverses. That means now, if I really count, I've been watching this, I found that the person has been trained to change the posture of the legs, position of the legs. Okay, now if one is changing the position of the legs, in such cases, if you have to do it, because standing at the same position for a long time, it may also hurt your knees and ankles. If you need to change, but don't do it with a very frequent harmony. That means first is this straight, and then this one is bent, and the next is this one is straight and this is bent. So what I saw is person after some time is changing the position of the legs like this, and again here, like this, again here. Now if you really see that with a little bit of time frame, you will find it has been done very, very uniformly timed, and that is dangerous. That is not good. It looks very funny. You change your stance. Change your stance in such a manner that people will not realize when you changed your standing stance. So here, it need not be that every time you have to stand straight, but whenever you are in attention, you should be straight. An example let me give you. You enter somewhere, you will find that the person at the gate man, when he is standing, he is never on a bent or stooping or kind of spreaded legs or at ease. They are very, very straight, legs together. Okay? And then you see the person who is serving in the restaurant, you will not find them casually coming in and then having the legs apart and all that. They have the legs together. If suppose one is bending, the person bends only up to a level which does not give you an encroachment in your domain. Okay? Bends only up to the level that he can put his ears very close to your mouth and it is in the audible zone. Otherwise, a person who is serving in a restaurant generally stands straight and then takes order. But if he finds that you are speaking slightly in a low voice and you are not audible, then he will bend. But he will bend with a body straight, the lower part is straight and the top part is slightly bent. How much bent? This is bending up to a level that now his ears enters into the audible level. That's it. That's it. If he does further, if his ears he brings very close to your mouth, again it is now violating. Okay? Everything is important. I'll tell you, these are, this requires grooming. This requires practice. It requires a consciousness. Then comes sitting. Sitting again, straight sitting like this, stooping sitting, stoops. The body stoops like this, bends like this, stoops. Okay? And then another point is the seat height. Have you ever experienced that you have gone to a reception and you have been requested to sit on a couch, reception, visitor's couch, which is very, very low height? You may feel apparently very comfortable when you are seeing this. While sitting, you will find that your body has bent. Your body has bent to this level, and then suddenly the central part of it sits, goes into the lower height. The moment it goes into the lower height, your thigh becomes higher, then the knee, and then the legs. So now your body is in a profile like this. body is in a profile like this. This is very uncomfortable for sitting, okay? And then to save yourself from the discomfort level, you stretch your legs gradually. If you stretch your legs, then you are encroaching into the reception area, visitors area, which is not right. Now, if you want to sit straight, you cannot sit straight. So if the chairs are generally flattish with a 5-degree inclination backward, then that's the ideal one for you to sit. But if it is now inclined a little more, 15-degree, then your whole body is going to be supported by the back, and your thigh and the legs are going to be just an add-on, okay? Now, if you are called for meeting, to get up from that position, to come to a normal position, again a big fight with your own body. So the thing is, I'll give you some tips. If you are going to a reception, if you find that the couches are very low, then try to very politely refuse sitting. If suppose you have said, please take your seat, okay, it's fine. You go to a corner, don't stand around the reception desk, don't disturb others, go to a corner. Somewhere stand. If you find that the sitting is not very comfortable for you, it's comfortable to sit, but it's very uncomfortable to get up, okay? And moreover, people like this, if you have a little heavy body, then in such cases sitting in that chair and getting up is a real tough fight with ourselves, okay? Now, I have seen people sitting there for long, relaxing at the back. That is fine, because the chair is designed like that. The inclination is such that your whole body is going to have an inclination in which your whole body is resting on the back. It's no problem. And then you are called. You have to negotiate that much of angle and to get up and to come to a parallel, horizontal, and then to get up and stand up. It's a very tough task. So sitting is also an indication that how you should really sit. Most often the sit straight, most often sit straight, and then generally don't stoop, or don't be like this, don't rest on your elbows and palms, okay? And another thing, let me tell you, I have seen some persons, this I'll talk about when I'll come to the shoulder line more in detail. I have seen some person who deliberately keeps himself straight like this, and that looks slightly uncommon. Let's be flexible, comfortable, but not deliberately trying to be very straight. Actually, you are not straight, okay? Seat height is another. During interview, you will find that you have been given, you are the person who is being interviewed, you have been given a chair which is at a lower height. The person who are interviewing there are at a higher elevation. There's a saying that the person who is on the other side, just to pose a give an impression to you that I am at a higher level than you, or you are at the receiving end, I am at the giving end, they raise the chairs. They raise their chairs. When they raise their chairs, they are looking down upon you. I have seen such kind of professionals who deliberately will sit on a normal chair, but the visitor's chair in front, they are at a lower height. They deliberately do it to give a kind of a slightly inferiority complex generation in the minds of the person who is sitting in front. Who wants to see that? See, generally what happens when you are meeting somebody, your eye level should be at par. But if you are sitting at the lower level, your eye level now is at this level. You are here and the person you are speaking to is at this point. And just look at this. This person who is now looking at you at this particular angle, that means looking down upon. It makes you first internally slightly more uncomfortable. And people who think that his height is not much, but he doesn't want to give an impression that his height is not much, then in such cases they raise their chairs. And that is not bad. I'll tell you, that is not bad. That's very comfortable, because at a point of time, I do not know, maybe in front of me there will be a very tall person sitting and he has come and I'm talking to him, but I'll be talking to him with my heads and eyes up, uncomfortable. So in such cases, if somebody raises the chair, it's not a problem, not an issue, but you have to watch what is the seat height. If the seat height is too low, don't sit. If the seat height is normal, sit. If the seat height is slightly higher, don't sit. Try to avoid sitting, because in both the other cases, extreme cases, you'll be put into uncomfortable situation. Quite often, I'll tell you, quite often this is done very deliberately. It is deliberately your seat height is either slightly higher or slightly lower to create a kind of discomfort in you, and if you are internally uncomfortable, then your whole expression and manifestation of interactions in which your discomfort will come as small surges of negatives. Okay, the tummy. See, of course, additional volume in our waistline, not a problem. If God has created us like this, we can be with it. But when you are going for professional interaction, in such cases you be concerned about it and conscious of it. You don't ignore. I have seen many professionals with a very, very, larger girth at the central position of our torso. But what happens is, usually people consider that, okay, no, this is an add-on, not really very healthy. So people start becoming judgmental. Can't help it. It's a psychology. It's a mind. Your physique, your appearance is going to create some kind of impression in the mind of somebody else. Okay. If you have it, not a problem. Only thing is, try to see that you are not pushing it too forward. It means in your whole gesture, whole posture, the tummy should not come out very, very bulging outside. Be controlled within it. Okay. Or don't even try to send it backward, because the whole body posture again will change into a different kind of profile, very funny profile. Okay, means you have been endowed with some things, or maybe that just by your good lifestyles and good food habits, or such things, you have added on volume in your central part of the body. It doesn't matter. Only thing, be concerned and conscious about it, because there are many things happen with your such kind of things. Your shirt buttons may flare, your belt position may change. These are very, very important. Don't ignore it. Don't say don't care. These are very important, because your overall impression is created by first time when he's seeing somebody whom you are meeting for the first time. The first impression is created by seeing you. Then your sentence starts, and maybe after some time that all these seeing things, if it has generated a negative impact, that will be brushed off, because you are such a nice person to talk to, so knowledgeable person to talk to. I don't care how is your waistline. In such cases, be very, very cautious. So don't unnecessarily push it forward. Don't unnecessarily push it backward. Two more things. Don't tighten it. Don't tighten it with the belt. Some people, what they do is they tighten it with the belt. The tummy line, they tighten it with the belt, thinking that, okay, I'm not showing it. That makes it a very funny profile, if you see. At the same time, don't loosen it either. Loosening it means now you do require, if you are loosening it, in such cases you do require gallus. So everything matters. One more thing, let me tell you, in this situation, don't deliberately try to hold your breath to take your tummy line back. I've seen people, as such is all right. The moment he enters, and then suddenly he holds back his breath in such a manner that the tummy line recedes up maybe half an inch. He feels it's all right, but your entire mechanism, body mechanism, starts behaving erratically. Don't have to do that. Only thing is, one good solution is go to the gym. Try to reduce your weight. Try to reduce your waistline. Go to the gym. That's the best solution for that. But if it is not giving you good results, but be cautious about it. Then comes the shoulder. This, the shoulder profile is genetic. Whether your shoulder is stooping like this, dropping like this, okay, or whether the shoulder is straight. So it's a shoulder line. It's whether it's straightened or jerks or sulking or shrug. These are all shoulder movements which are important. Shoulder line, this line. Some people, this is genetically obtained. So some people will have a shoulder line which is straight. Some people will have a shoulder line which is drooping like this. Nothing wrong in it. Only thing is how you manifest the shoulder line. See, straighten. If you sit straight, your shoulder line is what is natural. But some people have habit of jerking shoulders while talking, jerking. Don't do it. Don't jerk your shoulders, because that gives, that catches attention of the person whom you are talking with. Any involuntary or voluntary gestures of any other parts other than your lips and eyes. That also catches attention. That causes distraction. Don't do that. If your shoulder line is this, try to maintain it. If you sit straight, it is normal. You don't have to unnecessarily raise it. You don't have to spread it. Okay? But don't jerk. Don't sulk. Sulking means you have a shoulder line, we have the cervical part, but sulking means you are putting your head slightly lower and the shoulder goes up. Don't do that. Don't sulk like this. Don't. Be normal. Whatever you are good. You are good looking. Don't try to make extra effort to make yourself good looking. It might become counterproductive. And don't shrug for talking, don't do this. This is incourteous. You can do this to the friends, but never in the business. In the business, is very, very formal. Okay, if I now summarize this: standing, sitting, tummy, waistline, and the shoulder. All together, it gives other parts. So the postures is basically the other body parts which are here. So how do you stand? How do you sit? How do you walk? How do you sit? How do you remain sitting? How do you get up? Everything is going to play some role or the other. See, maybe I'll be coming a little more detail in some of them. Suppose you are sitting in the reception and suddenly you are called. You went there and the receptionist says, please take your seat, and you sat there. It's a low seat. And then you sat there, and immediately after somebody says and calls you for the meeting. Have you ever watched somebody else in that situation? That person fights with himself to get up because he doesn't want to lose that seconds, because if he delays it, it speaks bad about him. So immediately he tries to get up and he messes up with the whole body postures. It is something very, very important. Okay, so I'll discuss more on these different other grooming things before I take you to the interview, because my first intention is that first let me try to groom the situations and then take you to the interview, because during the interview I'll first expect that all those grooming things you have taken care of, and then I'll give you the tips for the interview and the GD. Okay, thank you.